Minecraft. Scary! Last time, I ended the episode in the middle of a thunderstorm because I was already doing my outro when the thunderstorm began, and so I'm going to begin today's episode with some footage of me fighting some mobs in the thunderstorm, and we'll see what happens there before we move on to the meat of this episode. So let's get started. Didn't see where that was. I think it was over this way, maybe? I'm really not sure, and I've got all these skeleton horses running around now, too. Okay, there's a lightning bolt. There is a creeper over there. This guy did not get electrified, so it must have been behind him. It was like right over here somewhere. Darn. I didn't see any creepers get hit by it, though. But I saw another lightning bolt. That's progress. Oh boy. I didn't see that one. Oh, there's fire over here. Okay, so there must have been one right over here, I guess. But once again, no electrified creeper to go with it. This is a bug with riding entities. He was riding the horse, and then, like, if the chunks get unloaded, they dismount, but they're not actually dismounted or something. Need to stand somewhere where I can see over the plain pretty well if there's another lightning bolt that strikes. Yeah. Go away. Oh, there's lightning. Okay. There's definitely a lightning strike over here, and there are a bunch of mobs over here, so we have some possibilities, maybe? I see a creeper nearby. Is that an electrified creeper by any chance? Oh, I need to eat some food. Yikes. Okay. One thing at a time. Okay, you're not an electrified creeper. You guys are bad. There was a creeper over here. This creeper, he is not electrified. Darn it. Okay, so the lightning has to hit really close, it seems like. Because that creeper was reasonably close to the lightning strike. I don't know what the actual radius is. And we have lots of bad guys around. Okay, I should try killing everyone but the creepers. I want to get as many creepers not despawned on the plane as possible. But I want to kill all the other mobs if I can. Oh, the rain is ending. Oh well. I did at least see... I think I definitely saw like at least 3 or maybe 4 of the lightning strikes. A couple of them I got a good look at where they struck, and one actually struck really close to a creeper. But not quite good enough to set him on fire. Alright, so that's some progress of some sort, I suppose. Yeah, this is going to be even harder than I imagined to do without any clever trickery. So I will continue to think on that. In any case, I would like to move on to other things for now. And I think it will be easier with this area all cleaned up, so I think I'm actually going to go sleep in a bed since we just had a thunderstorm. Some of my armor really took a beating with all of that night fighting, and so I'm going to do this. I could repair this with fewer diamonds, I believe, by just using diamonds as a raw material, but I think it has a higher enchantment cost. Let's actually double check that. Because someone told me that, but I've never actually checked it myself. But basically, it takes 5 diamonds to make a new diamond helmet to repair this with only 3 or 4. Yeah, I could repair it all the way, but it has an enchantment cost of 5 that way, and it only has an enchantment cost of 3 that way, and so that's kind of the different trade-offs that there are, and I'm not sure why I'm going for a lesser enchantment cost when I have plenty of levels. But I have chosen to do that, so in any case, those things are repaired. And now I would like to prepare some experimentation in the end, so I'm going to get various building blocks and meet you guys over there. I ended up spending like an hour or something off camera experimenting with some things I wanted to do in the end, and so here are the things I have built. On most of the towers, I've built something like this. You can probably get a better look at if I break a block here, but basically there's a redstone torch underneath that block, and it's currently on. And as a result, it's powering this block, which means this redstone torch is off next to this TNT. And so what all of that means, is that if anything breaks any of this gravel, since gravel is a gravity block, it will cause the gravel to fall, which means this redstone torch will break, which means this redstone torch will turn on, which means the TNT will be ignited and drop down and hopefully explode the new end crystal if one of those things pops up. It's kind of the idea. And so I've put that on most of the towers, but then I want to experiment a bit with a few other aspects as well. These two towers were the lowest. Oops, I might have just looked at an Enderman. Were the lowest towers and were the ones that contain the cages. And so I put little cobblestone kind of wings on them or whatever just to mark them so I would remember that those are the ones with the towers, and I want to see if they get the metal cages again. And then over here, and I don't know that I can get there easily right now, and actually that's something else that I want to do is like build some better ways to get around before we fight the dragon again. And I've been using lots of ender pearls to kind of make it easier to get around, and getting ender pearls in the end is easy to do, especially when you have a looting sword. Let me grab a few more ender pearls, and then there are a couple of other things I want to experiment with and build, and I'll bring you guys back once I've got that set up as well. So let's take a look at a few other experiments that I've set up. On this one, this is one of the wider pillars, and actually I think right here, this is the edge of the pillar, and right here, this is kind of like the first corner bit that's not there, and I've got the polished granite here in the corner. I want to see if this block ends up getting replaced. But basically, with this setup, I am trying to measure, assuming that the pillar is going to be replaced and stuff above it is going to be replaced. I'm going to measure how far out it gets replaced. And so here's the center, and at 5 blocks out and at 10 blocks out, I've got polished diorite, and then I've got cobblestone everywhere else. And so I'm hoping we'll see a portion of this replaced and a portion of it still left behind, so we'll be able to see how much of it actually got replaced. Here's the thing that the healing crystal is going to be on. I also dug down one and replaced inside the pillar here with some polished granite to measure that. This little bit right here I'll come back to in a minute. But then if we go over here, on this one I was also trying to do kind of like measure what gets replaced but do something vertically. And so basically every 5 blocks up I've got polished granite. And so what I'm hoping is that maybe 5 or 10 blocks will get replaced, but then once I go 15 blocks up or something it won't be replaced, and so we'll be able to see where the replacement cuts off. And over on this side it's actually within the boundary of the pillar, and on this side it's just outside the boundary of the pillar. So I want to see if maybe this one doesn't get replaced and this one does. And just in case it does replace this as well, I have some kind of wings kind of hanging off the side here in order to see how far away from the pillar actually gets replaced. And so, yeah, and then I've got another pillar over there that's one of these are kind of thicker pillars that are like 5 blocks of obsidian away from the center. That one over there is kind of a narrower pillar that's only 4 blocks away, and so I was measuring outwards from that one to see if and what gets replaced. And then finally, just for kind of getting around, I made, since I think the dragon can destroy most every block except for endstone and obsidian, I made these things whose purpose is basically so I can throw an ender pearl up here and get up to this little vantage point and possibly fire at the dragon if I wanted to, but then I can also throw an ender pearl up here and get over at this vantage point, and then I was running out of blocks, but I made a smaller target over here that I can get to this vantage point and then hopefully get up on top of this pillar, which I think is the tallest of the pillars. And from here I can kind of ender pearl around relatively easily to kind of get around. But I'm hoping this will allow me to witness the pillar replacement stuff before the dragon comes and potentially destroys it all. And I have not set up the TNT on this one and this one because I'm trying to experiment with them, and I'm afraid the TNT will explode and kind of destroy my ability to see what pillar replacement has kind of actually happened over here. So hopefully this will allow me to kind of do some kind of measurements. I'm not sure exactly. Obviously this is the type of experiment that you could run in creative much more easily in order to get exactly the data that you're interested in, but I figured since Minecraft Exploration and Tactics is about science and what we can do in survival, I would try to get this set up. But in any case, my expectation now is if I were to resummon the dragon, that the pillars would go and get replaced. Oh, there's one more experiment down here. The pillars will get replaced. Some of the gravel will get broken. The redstone torches will set off this TNT. The TNT will drop on top of here, destroy the healers, the ender crystals on most of the pillars. I'll have a couple experiments up here that I'll want to go witness what they look like and get it on camera, and then destroy the healers over there, and then be able to fight the dragon again. I'm going to collect a bunch of ender pearls before I do that, because the ender pearls will be useful to have to move around. But the one other experiment that I did is over here. I just cut through the pillar. I presume the pillars get like replaced in their entirety, but I don't actually know. So I just kind of cut through the pillar over here, and so we'll see if this hole gets replaced when I resummon the dragon as well. In any case, I'm going to gather up some more pearls, get my inventory set for a dragon fight, and we'll try this out. I see a chain armor guy. Oh! Yes, he dropped pants. Great. Awesome. I got back from the end, and it was nighttime, and so I decided to just run around quickly and see if I saw a chain armored guy. And we managed to get chain leggings. So now all we need is the chain boots. That is pretty lucky and useful. We still have another couple of minutes. I'm going to do another circle around and see if I can find any other chain dudes. Some folks pointed out, correctly in my estimation, that I really ought to ride a horse when I'm doing this, either to try to find chainmail guys or to try to find electrified creepers so I can move more quickly. And I think that is a good idea. I could even use speed potions to move even more quickly and be able to cover more ground. But in any case, I'm doing another circle around. I haven't seen any more chainmail guys, but it was very fortunate that the one chainmail guy that I did see was kind enough to drop his pants. That did not come out the way I intended it to. But sometimes when you're doing commentary, these are the things that happen. Oh well. In any case, I'm happy with that. Let's go fight the dragon. Actually, before we fight the dragon, let's get some chain leggings. Woohoo! So I believe to summon the dragon, we need to have 4 end crystals. So now I've got those, and I'm bringing some potions, not so much because I think I need the potions, but so I want some extra glass bottles, and drinking them will help in that regard. And other than that, I've got a lot of ender pearls. I've got my awesome bow that we can use to kill the dragon. I've got some blocks and water buckets. I don't think the rest matters all that much. It's very possible that I'm overconfident now, whereas I was extremely underconfident before the first dragon fight, but hopefully this will work out. So I'll meet you guys over at the entrance to the end. I thought of one other experiment I want to run, which is, I don't know, these torches that are here. I don't know if they regenerate when the end portal gets like recreated or something, and so I'm going to go ahead and drop those torches back into the overworld and see what happens with that. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold on to my strength potion until later if I decide to go up and melee the dragon when he's sitting at the center. But I'll use a speed potion, I think, at the beginning. And yeah, then I'll have a regen potion in case I get desperate at some moment in time, although I doubt that I will. And yeah, apart from that, I don't know that there's too much else to worry about, really. And so I think the way that it works is you set down end crystals. Oops. Set down end crystals like on 4 different sides of the end portal in order to resummon the dragon. Before I put down the 4th one, I'm going to go ahead and drink my speed potion since that'll last a long time. And then I'll have some glass bottles on me in case I need them. And once this happens, I'm going to immediately teleport up to this ender pearl up to this one. And we'll try to like watch what happens, and then I'm going to try to get up here to kind of watch the rest and figure out some of my experiments, if that makes any sense. So here goes nothing. All right. So neat. It seems like it's working. Yeah, because the TNT just dropped. It fell on top of that, and it broke that open. Cool. Okay, so I think that's kind of working. As it circles all around, oops, crap, all around all these pillars, and I just took a big fall, which is a dumb thing to do. Let's eat some food. Oh, crap. Okay, the dragon might have just flown through, or the pillar thing might have been erased. I think that got erased. Okay, so my good spot might have been erased. Oh, and these are back. Okay, this did not work. The TNT fell, but it did not destroy these things. I'm not sure if these things ended up like being immune for some amount of time, or if they didn't come back until the end, or exactly what happened here. But the healers are back. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the video on that. Oh, I just heard something else explode. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but there's definitely, it looks like there's a healer up here, for example. Alright, the dragon might sneak up on me right now, but let's accept that that's a possibility. Oh, I see. I was not hearing explosions of the pillars. I was hearing... Okay, don't look at the Enderman. This cage does look like it's still broken, though. I don't have the blocks to get up on top of these things. I do have a lot of ender pearls, but my good ender pearling spots have mostly been destroyed by the dragon at this point, I think. Yeah, part of that got exploded, part of this is exploded, but there's still a little bit of a ledge here. Let me make sure the dragon isn't going to hit me, and then see if I can do this. Okay, I'm somewhere higher up. Can I hit this from here? Not quite. Can I hit that? That almost hit. There we go. Alright, the dragon's doing his thing where he sits in one spot. I might be able to ender pearl over here. Let's try it. Yep, that works. This will probably hurt, actually. Yep, okay. That was not the smartest thing to do, necessarily. I'm not going to use my regen potion just yet, because I think I can live without it. And I might be able to... oh, crap. I'm inside... Okay. I'm inside the, that stuff. Let's get this on the bar. Guess I kind of filled all those up, and so that's not necessarily going to help me a whole lot. Okay, this might still be a hard fight, is the moral of the story. Okay, he's stuck in there. Let's do this. And from here, let's have a way to get out into some water. I think there's still water. Oh, crap, 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 crap. All right, I've got feather falling boots, so that's not the worst thing in the world. But I am going to run out of ender pearls here, probably. While I'm over here, I just want to see... Yes. Okay, so this pillar has been repaired. There's one of the redstone torches that fell out of my thing on the top. Alright, but without sufficient blocks, I'm either going to need to have a whole lot of successful ender pearling, or dig up a whole bunch of blocks again in order to pillar up different spots. Which might end up being what I'm going to do. Yeah, I can imagine that this is going to take a while. Alright, I got a lot of blocks to get back up here. And now from here, I think I can break this thing and then fall in the water. Yeah, okay, so there's one of those down. I am unclear which healers still remain. Okay, definitely there's one way over here. Oh, wow! I hit it. And I think if he is healing from a healer, and you destroy that healer while he's healing from it, it deals damage to the dragon, and I think that's what we just saw there. Alright, I may be getting a little bit better with the bow, which is a nice change of pace. Alright, so that one's down. Let's stand over on this end and see if there's still any other healers that we can see he's healing from. One of the high ones up there, and still this one. I can't really see it, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to hit this one. I'll fire a couple of arrows in case I do. Oh, he's shooting his stinky breath at me. Alright, and now he's sitting in the center again. I need to mine up some more blocks, I think. And unfortunately, a lot of the area is getting filled with his bad breath over here, which I'm not sure if it dissipates over time on its own, or it's only if you collect it with a glass bottle that it goes away. I'm not going to bother trying to deal damage to the dragon while he still has the ability to heal. For better or for worse. But I need to get up here. Just to be a little bit cautious, we're going to set a water bucket down here. And I have some infinite water sources in different spots. So that ought not be a big problem. But I'm going to try to pillar up here. Let's make sure our food is topped off. So if he does bad things to us, okay, just like that. Yeah, I should be okay. Alright, so we're just going to try this again. Dragon, you are very loud. Has anyone ever told you that? I bet they have. Darn it. Hey, dragon, quit being a meanie. Go stand in the center again and do nothing so I can do something. Okay, so here's one of these things. Alright, I've managed to destroy it. This one is still here. I'm going to get a little bit of this on camera. I can go look at the footage later. It looks like there's one way over here. A little bit higher. Got it. Okay. Oh, crap. Okay, let's see if I can do this. I did not manage to break the fall damage there, sadly. But we do have very good armor. Okay, are there any healers left? I might have gotten them all now. I'm going to try to stand near the center and just observe the dragon and see if I can tell if the dragon is healing from anywhere. Actually, I can start dealing some damage. Yeah, and I've got a strength potion. Let's drink the strength potion to make me super strong. And then start doing some of this. Ouch, okay, dragon's flying away. So we'll switch back to arrows. We'll keep an eye out to see if he's healing anywhere. I'm pretty sure whatever Enderman sound I'm hearing is anger against the dragon and not anger against me, because I'm fairly certain I have not looked at any. Okay, he just shot some noxious gas at me. Where did he go? She go, whatever. Alright. I definitely did the most damage when it was in the center and I could hit it with the sword. So come back here. Yeah, there you go. While I have strength, let's take advantage. Alright. Yeah, this is not so bad. Now that I kind of know some of what to expect with the dragon, this is not too bad. I need to eat at some point. Let's fire an arrow and do some eating. And I still have the regen potion available if something bad goes wrong. And I've got ender pearls on the... Oh, crap. Alright, there's something bad. I have an enderman or two that I need to kill. Okay, you're dead. Great. The dragon did most of the damage on that, I think. Alright, let's find the dragon again. Oh, crap. I did it again. Alright. Angry enderman. I've got depth strider on these boots, so I can avoid them pretty well. I think they got angry at the dragon or died or something, because I don't see them going after me anymore. Okay, and the dragon's in the center again. Yeah. My strength wore off, unfortunately, so we're not dealing as much damage. But I think it's still enough. Yay! Okay, and we're gonna see if the torches come back. And also, I want to see how much experience he drops. I'm currently at level 36, so it's gonna be a little hard to gauge. The torches did come back. His breath hasn't all gone away, so maybe I could come back through the end. I don't think it's nearly as much experience as it was before. I'm up to level 37 now. Because previously it got me to like level 50 or 60 or something. I do see these things fading away. Okay, and I don't really need the dragon's breath, and I could always come back and get more. However, my thingies, for the most part, didn't work, despite the fact that I was right in terms of how the TNT got set off. Then it was the case that the crystals were still there, and like the top of this got exploded, but this one was hardly exploded. That might have just been the way the TNT worked. And so I'm going to have to go back and review the footage to understand some of that. But definitely we saw that the pillar over here got healed at the base, and it looks like might have been more than 10 blocks high that some of those things went. I had the gravel on these stacked 16 high, I think. And yeah, I need to go back and, oops, darn it. All right, yeah. Go back and review the footage to see if there's any other conclusions I can draw from that not necessarily very conclusive test. But in any case, we managed to kill the dragon again. I have a little bit more practice and confidence with the dragon, so... And it looks like it's just morning. If it's just morning, let's very quickly see if we happen to get lucky and there's any other chainmail guys. And then I'll go review the footage. Any chainmail guys? All I need is some boots, really. Anybody wearing any boots? Show me chainmail boots. Any chainmail boots anywhere? You have chainmail boots? No, you do not. You have an arrow for me? That was kind. Yeah, I don't think we were getting so lucky. I rewatched the footage, and I think I learned some things. For one, it seems like the pillars started on the easternmost pillar, which in this case was the lower of the cages, and then went around clockwise as they respawned, one by one. It did seem like the cages were not invulnerable, but the end crystals themselves were invulnerable. I happen to know that you can mark entities as invulnerable using command blocks, and so I imagine that perhaps the end crystals themselves are invulnerable until the whole fight starts, so that you can't go and shoot down the crystals as they respawn, and you have to kind of like wait for the whole thing to start. So I think perhaps that's what happened there. Up here, we have, it looks like 1, 2, 3 cobblestone blocks and that. And since I had these going up 15, basically 5 is gone, 10 is gone, and I think 11 is gone as well. And so I think maybe it went like 11 blocks higher than this. Although I'm not sure that that's always 11 blocks higher. It might be like some absolute value of height that it always goes and replaces up to, possibly. And then this pillar over here was the one where I had the diorite kind of 5 out and then the diorite kind of 10 out and the cobblestone all in between. And it ended up all getting erased. And while there's a tiny possibility it was the dragon, I thought I saw it on tape that basically the end crystal here kind of like exploded into existence and broke some of the diorite, and then all of a sudden all of it got erased. And so I think possibly it erases like a larger square outside of each pillar than I originally imagined. And in fact, this one is sliced off kind of perfectly right over here. I'm not sure if I walk between these 2 blocks here, if this is a chunk boundary, possibly. It is not a chunk boundary, and so I'm thinking possibly it's the distance from this one. So I want to count over. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is 10 even with this? I think 11 is going to be even with this. 11 is here. Yeah, I'm thinking possibly from the center it goes another 10 blocks out. So this would be the center, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then that's why it got erased up to here, and probably a 10 by 10, or I guess actually a 21 by 21 square is what gets replaced for the pillar, is my guess, which was just big enough to erase my previous test. And since we know that the bottom of the pillar got replaced as well, I should also try just kind of like erecting something around the base of these pillars. So in any case, oh, and I think that means we're going to get more of these things opening up. I've forgotten, more of these little teleporters that bring us out to different end islands. In any case, my tests both were not as conclusive as I hoped, but at the same time did offer me a lot of information. So I think I do plan to run these tests again in a future episode. Probably not next episode, because I want to mix things up and I want to think about things a little bit. But I imagine that if I put my TNT falling things like on a timer and hooked it up to win the last one, assuming that they're going to respawn in the same order, which I imagine they might, hooked it up to when the last one kind of like goes off, then I might be able to break down all the healers with some kind of timing device on redstone or something. I'll have to think it through. I'm sure there's a number of ideas I could make that are workable. I'm just trying to think of what would be the easiest way to do it. And yeah, and then I have some other experiments to try to understand exactly what does and doesn't get replaced. But in any case, that was interesting, gave me more practice with the dragon, got to see a little bit of what was going on there in terms of when you respawn the dragon, how basically the 4 crystals have a light up in the sky, and then the light goes and joins to each of the different pillars and kind of like respawns the pillar, and then the dragon comes back. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But I think, based on how much footage I already have for today, that is where we're going to call it a day for today. And if I didn't mention it, yes, the torches are back. And so I hope, as always, that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Minecraft exploration and tactics. We're on a quest for everything. I did get another item this episode. I managed to get the chain leggings. So let's hope we can keep making progress over there. Bye-bye.